I mean, obviously, we're aware of the issuance by the ICC of the warrants against two Israeli officials and Hamas official. I would just tell you, as we've said before, the Secretary General respects the work and the independence of the International Criminal Court, and I will leave it at that for now.
In the past, the whole issue of the Secretary General or UN officials dealing with indicted or convicted individuals, how would these arrest warrants affect your ability for senior officials to speak with Netanyahu and Gallant?
The issue of our contact with persons subjected to an arrest warrant remains the same. It's outlined clearly in the public document that was issued by the then Secretary General in 2013, which is the rule is that there should not be any contacts between UN officials and individuals subject to arrest warrants, but the guidelines also clearly recognize that such contacts, especially by senior officials of the organization, may be required to address fundamental issues, operational issues, and our ability to carry out our mandates, including vital matters of security. So contacts can be had, they need to be limited, and there is also a procedure through which we advise in writing the the office of the ICC that these contacts are had.
Because you basically say Guterres respect the ICC, but eventually he will have to meet, if he needs to meet the Prime Minister Netanyahu. My question is, in this case, he will undermine or not the credibility of the ICC?
Is your, if I may rephrase your question into a shorter one, do you feel that when a Secretary General meets someone who's been indicted by the ICC, it undermines the ICC? I think that's the way I understand your question, and my answer is no. The Secretary General respects the work of the ICC, he respects its independence. And as I've said, there are clear guidelines that have been agreed to between the International Criminal Court and the United Nations on ways for a Secretary General or senior officials to continue to do their work.
Change this. In light of the news from the ICC, like, do you foresee this affecting?
Whether it's this conflict or any other, if we want to see a ceasefire, if we want to see increased humanitarian assistance, we have to speak to the people involved in the conflict. So we will continue to do so. It doesn't mean that we don't call out violations of humanitarian law when they occur. We don't condemn the killings of civilians. We will continue to speak out. We will continue to do whatever we can to ensure that there will be a ceasefire, to ensure that there will be humanitarian aid, to ensure that the hostages will be released, to ensure that we can get the Israelis and the Palestinians, in as difficult as it may seem to imagine now, on a track back to a two-state solution.